Thanks for everyone coming along. Welcome, Jacob. Thanks for sharing some time with us this morning to kick off some onboarding with a CRM. But just quickly before we get started, I'd just like to make an acknowledgement to country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and to recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community. And I pay my respect to their cultures and to elders past and present. So yeah, this has been a long time coming, to start the rollout of our CRM. I think what we've done is shared logins with everyone, and I think everyone's been successful with being able to log in to date. And I thought this morning we would just, with Jacob's assistance, do some basics around creating some contacts, whether that's a business or a client, do some troubleshooting along the way. So I'm going to hand over to you, Jacob, to maybe share the screen initially.
Excellent. Absolutely. Just let me find the screen. There it is. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cool. So what we'll do is we'll just log in here, and I suppose one of the important things that we need to do probably first up is set a two-factor code for all of your logins. So see, this one's already been set up. It's prompting me for my two-factor code. So it might be a good idea. Does everybody want to pull up their instance on their screen, and we might be able to do this as we go?
Would everyone have already done their security check there, Jacob?
No, so they've actually got to go in and turn it on there.
Turn it on. Okay.
But it's an important thing just to keep it a little bit more secure.
Excellent.
So I can show you how to do it. I might just keep running through it. So what we're doing is we're coming up into this top right 3 dots and going to administration. We're finding search for users, and you'll find yourself in there. So we'll find Jacob, and we've got this security tab up here. So click into security, and we want to check this box, enable two-factor authentication. Set the TOTP, which is just a one-time password, and basically it'll pull up a QR code on your screen that you're able to scan with. If you've got like a Google Authenticator app or a different authenticator app that you use for other things, you can scan that code, put it in, and then it's going to enable it on your account. Really good idea to do that, as it just gives us that extra layer of security for the system. Sim, did you want me to run over adding a contact first?
I think so. Is everyone going with being able to log in there? And we do that later, Jacob. They can do that afterwards, or you're wanting them to do that now?
You can come back and do it afterwards. We're recording the session, aren't we? So we should be able
Excellent.
to share it with you. And if anyone has issues with that, just let me know. It should be fairly straightforward.
Yep.
So
yeah, absolutely, Jacob. Let's start with creating some contacts and some of the features.
Excellent. So we have 2 different types of records in here of our main sort of records. So a contact can be anyone, whether that's one of the community connected clients or whether it is a contact that works at a business, a local business that you're starting to reach out to or keep in touch with. So to add one manually, we come into the Contacts tab and we hit Create Contact. In here, we can add our contact name. So we're going to add one called Harry. Contact type, so a client would be, basically you can see if they're a contact business, we've only got a few fields that we've enabled here. So that would be, say you're wanting to keep in touch with the local practice and there's someone who works there that you want to put their details in. So if they're contact client, we've then got all of the check-in dates, all of our different questions about employment, bits and pieces. You would go in here and you would fill this out. Now they must have an email address. You can see there's a few of these fields that have little asterisks next to them. So we'll put in.
Just while you're doing that, Jacob, so remembering when we first start a contact, we don't always have a lot of information. It's usually that first information we've got from a client referral. So we might have their email address, the business they're being referred by, their arrival date. And then as time goes on, we keep adding to our contact when we gather some more information. So you don't feel like you need to have all that information at the start to create that contact.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could just have it.
Can I
say,
just ask?
Yeah,
Go for it.
Can I just can you enter a client if you haven't got an email address? Can you start them entering it off, or you've got to wait till you get the email address?
That's one of the one fields that we do actually need is their email. That is what keeps their record unique from all other records. So that's probably the one crucial one that we do need.
But sometimes people will ring me and I've just got their mobile number to start off with.
Yeah, I getcha.
Karen, that's where
until I do the interview, and
that's when we use those referral templates where we actually fill in those basic information when they're being referred to from a business. As time goes and you get that email contact, then you would create that in your CRM. But yeah, as Jacob says, you definitely need that to create that profile.
Yeah, and look, you can technically just put something else in here if you wanted, but just note you would have to come back and change it afterwards. So you could just put some gobbledygook in there just to allow you to create it. But again, then down the track, you got to try and send them an email and go, oh, we haven't got the right details. So it's a good idea if you are able to get that. One of the important fields up here is this marketing material one. This was one of the fields that we realized that was actually very important for if you're going to be running an export of your data out and wanting to send out an email to everybody, we need to gain consent for being able to send them sort of marketing and promotional material. BIM, I think we were discussing on whether there was going to be some checkbox or process about the best way to do that. Yeah, that's an important one.
I think we're just in regards to a client, you've got consent once we're communicating with them. So I would think as a client, everyone would have a tick there, but it becomes particularly important when we're dealing with businesses and organisations that we have consent, whether that's verbal or that's something that you add in your emails at the bottom to make sure you have that consent.
Yeah, absolutely. So in here, we can put some other bits and pieces and fill in their address, referral type, where they're relocating from. Now this arrival date and first contact date, as you'll notice, this arrival date might be the first contact date. When we hit save, it's going to automatically set the suggested dates for the check-ins. It won't automatically create the task for you, but it does give you the date. So you're able to set a task nice and easily based off those dates. Brief notes is a good spot where you can just put in a couple notes, and if that was all you could put in there today and hit save, then that would be okay. And as we go down,
the arrival date and the arrival date and the first
point of contact
date. Yeah. So which of those dates does it set your check-in for 3 months? Because again, sometimes I'm talking to people May last year, but they've only just moved to town May this year.
Yeah, so it's based off the arrival date.
Always. So that's the research. It's not the contact date. It could be months between when I arrive and.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I suppose the first contact date is just something that you can put in there to say, actually, I started talking to this person 6 months ago. However you want to do it, good for your reporting down the track.
Yeah.
So we can put in some brief notes. Now, employment, employer, again, not quite sure if that's relevant straight off the bat, but what this employer does is this allows us to link this contact to an account, which we'll get to soon. So I've currently got a test one here, Penny's Private Practice, that I've left in there. This allows us to, for a business contact, it gives us the opportunity to say, okay, this is a business in the community that we're talking to, and we're talking to the owner. We'd be able to put in the business name and a few other details about the business, the industry, etc., their job title, and we link the contact, Harry, who is the owner of this business. For everyone else, it gives us an opportunity to put in they've ended up getting employment from and bits and pieces.
And I think
Again,
that's particularly important when we're dealing with hospitals, where we're dealing with the organisation, but we might be dealing with 20 or so different departments within that hospital, and that's where that becomes really important.
absolutely.
And does that mean we could then produce a list of all of the clients for that business? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can do a search by that business and it'll just bring everyone up.
So if they asked how many clients have you seen from our organisation, at a touch of a button would be able to go this many.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's why that was so important to be created, because we can pull that data and export it quite easily for not only our own reporting, but obviously the reporting if they're not tracking it at the organisation level as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Easiest way to do it as a touch of a button is to do one of these little search filters. We can put in the business that they work for, and then when we hit apply, obviously we've only got 2 people in here, but it would filter this whole list, and then we can export that out to do whatever we need to do.
Can you just go back a bit, Jacob, and just go through that again? So we've just created in your contact list, we've got a couple of contacts already been created, which is down the bottom there, Harry's contact and Jacob's testing. So if we're wanting to export that, we go into the search icon just above, or the...
Yeah, so at the moment, this will bring up everyone, and then you can go in here and search for the word Jacob, which we've got Jacob in. It searches quite a few fields. So say we went Harry, it searches like name, email, employer, lots of different things. So you could put the employer's name in here, or you can do a filter view, which if we come into this 3 dots, now we can search via certain fields. The account is employer field, so you can see accounts on the left. So we can say account, and here we've got a little bit of logic. So we can say accounts is any of Penny's private practice. It'll bring up a list of accounts. Click select and apply that filter. And then you're going to view only people with that. If you wanted to export all of this data, you can hit the box at the top, which will select everything, and actions, and we can export that, and then we can do something else with the data. Does that make sense? Was that too quick for anyone?
And we'll be feeling a little bit overwhelming flicking across the screen. So we're recording it for today. I'm seeing Karen nod. We can go do some one-on-one with you, Karen, as well. Where I found the exporting really valuable is I was able to always export. I used to do a monthly email check-in, they've just settled in, and I would be able to export out their arrival date, and I would send that monthly email to anyone that's arrived in May, and I would send it in June. So you can really use that exporting and filtering down for your marketing. That's really valuable.
Yeah.
Jacob, could you just speak about who gets to see this and who doesn't, so that everyone's secure that this is their data, not our data, and we don't have access to this level of data? Can you please speak to that?
Yes, I need to get back to you, Kath, in that discussion. So we might circle back to that conversation. But yes, this is all your data.
Not our data. We're not seeing this level of data.
Oh, yes. Yes,
and we will ask your permission for a report that's high level data. How many clients have you settled, that type of thing? I'm not interested in this level of data ever. It's yours. Gail?
I just have a question around accounts and contacts. So accounts is at the business level and contacts is obviously at the individual level.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think of, at the moment, like I'm talking to lots of different people who are neither at the moment. Am I still putting them in at both levels? I don't know how to explain it anymore.
Can you just, sorry, I didn't hear that first bit. You're dealing with people at what levels?
At both levels, but particularly like we're not working with anyone at the moment. So I don't have any accounts as such. These are just people and organisations who I'm talking to about the program, the project, the pilot. So I want to know, am I still putting them in at both of those levels? Is there a distinction between that?
I can just talk on experience that I did in Shepparton. As anyone that I was networking with or had contact with, I logged into my CRM, and we've created so many fields and properties in there that can allow us to have, for example, a community group. In Shepparton, we had 27 different ethnic groups, and so I would have them in my contacts. Now, I mightn't be dealing with them all at one time, or I mightn't be personally dealing with them, but I still had them in my contact. But they're the ones that you need to be extra careful with when you're not personally dealing with, making sure, particularly around that marketing, but everyone will be responsible for their own, and you would have your own policies around that anyway, but it's just something we wanted to flag. But I would think that anyone and everyone should go in your CRM and are able to be categorised as a community group or a sports club, a business in health. So we have those categories, and we might get Jacob to show us those categories as well when we get to that stage.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did that answer your question, Gail? Yeah. You ought to manage your own CRM and contacts, but every contact to me is so valuable. Yeah.
But Gail, I would say, while you don't know what it is, that they may be potentially a client in the future or a business, I would go for business, Ben, wouldn't you? And then you may change that over time, or can you change it, or you need to redo it at that point?
I can speak on that. So they're different records. So if we come into like our business ones, so in Penny's private practice, we've got an email, phone, website, some addresses, some of these questions about support has been required, what service they provide. So this is very much high level at a business. So there's no personal contact details in here of anyone in particular.
And we've created those fields in that support requested from Community Connector program. So I think there's attract and recruit support. There's what are they? Thank you. Presentation requests. It's something I would have a lot in Shepparton, where I was only dealing with that particular contact because I was asked to go and do a presentation to their university, to their new lot of doctors coming in. So it just enables you to categorise those. How you use that's totally up to yourself. I used to like to go back and go, well, I've done 6 presentations in the last 2 months. I now want to go and connect with them again and see how they're going. Do they want to join the Community Connector program? They got some clients and so forth. So it's just one of those extra checks for you in a marketing point of view as well. There's a series of drop downs there. Same with the service provided.
Yeah, there's quite a few in
So
here.
Gail, just don't you think mostly yours would be businesses at this point? Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking contacts. You might have the business, but then might talk to the GM one day, but then I might talk to the manager at another day, or business development another day. But they're all connected to that one business, that one, what do you call them, account. But that's okay. You can have multiple people under one business.
Yeah.
And you can have, and your notes can help you with that too. Is that right, Bevan?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where your notes are really valuable.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
At that contact level, you said that you're putting in the arrival date, the contact date, etc. If they are a business contact, does that? I can't see whether that is it's a required field.
Yeah, so up here, that
type,
contact type,
yeah.
so business, you'll see all that disappears, and this becomes very simple, and you can change that over time.
Yeah.
So they could start as a business contact.
And what was the other one?
Client, which
Client.
gives
So
you all of
a client, the actual new recruit. What do you call them? Newly arrived.
A referral, or
Yeah, so that's where we've got all these extra fields about their needs and notes and bits and pieces.
Perfect.
And just for you, Gail, perhaps you don't, we count one client, even if they have a partner, as just one client. So the numbers are actually better. And when we consolidate them, often that partner has been helped as well.
Yeah,
but we can actually run a report on that as well. So
okay, so did you just say if there was the newly arrived, so helping them, but then you're also helping their partner, a separate
one client? No,
it's only one client. Oh, okay.
But we have created fields in there, Gail, that says, does your partner need employment support? So we've got this series of yes and no's, because that's just great for data exporting. But then we have the ability on the right-hand side of those, do they require a company? And this is not information everyone might like to capture. It's entirely up to you if you want to know if they're purchasing a car or not, or if they need assistance. But then you have the ability to pop those some notes in there. It was a really big area for Shepparton because most of our clients in them were coming from overseas that were needing assistance with cars and licenses and so forth. So again, the field is there, but it doesn't necessarily mightn't apply to your region as much.
And it's a big one for Carly. Yeah, Carly? Yeah.
Can I ask, if you've got a client, like I've got 2 health professionals that are married, and so they're both coming to town. So do I create a separate? I would create a separate file for the spouse as a client.
Yeah, I would, Karen, because they've got specific needs and obviously not always the same employer. So you might have a speech therapist coming and a doctor, one at the hospital, one at a local practice. So yeah, I definitely would create separate
And
contacts
in
for them.
answering these questions about partner employment, is that going to muck things up? Because if I'm saying, oh, Dr. Hayder's wife is a pharmacist, I put partner employment.
Yeah, I
Yes,
understand where
if
you're coming
she-
from.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Wouldn't you?
overthink it either. These are generic. So the data we're pulling is it's not going to be spot on. But if you're dealing with creating a contact for each, then my answer to that would probably, you wouldn't write that you're helping their partner because you've created a separate client for the partner. But
Right.
again, yeah, you're
Could I
fine.
say though, it's rare that both are coming for a separate job. More often than not, and I would say in that case, that example, Karen, it was Hayder's job and his partner came and she has skills that were going to be used in the community. 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It will not be a large number of, but mostly it's one person coming with the job that we know of. And then we're trying to assist those people to find roles equal to their skills. So if they're health professionals, etc., that's great. But there's still partner employment.
Yeah, and if I reflect on Shepherd, and I think I maybe have had that once in the whole time, employer it wasn't based on both of them coming to seal the deal. So you're right, it's usually the one client.
Yeah. So in your case, Karen, I would say it's definitely Hayder was the person, and his partner was the partner employment.
See, then I've had 2 physios since
Right. That's probably a separate. We're getting way down into the detail.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
I'll work with you individually.
one.
Yeah, and I'll work with you individually to help you create these contacts, and we can go through them each. I'll talk to you afterwards, Karen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to mute Karen so that, because we're just getting background noise.
Lovely. So another thing I'll touch on. Yeah. All right. Let's finish this little bit. Getting ahead of myself. We've got all these needs fields, bits and pieces. So that's all fairly straightforward. Fill in as much as you can. And as Bim said, it should be a sort of like a best effort approach. If you've got the data, you put it in. If you don't, you can always add it over time. You can go back in and add it. That's the beauty of something like this. Another important thing is these tasks. We want to set ourselves, like say, a reminder to contact this person at our 3-month check-in. We can create a task, 20th of September. So you can add a task. I'm going to call this 3-month check-in. Now we can put in, I think it was 20th of September, and we're going to put a due date in. We'll give ourselves a week to do it, due in a week. You'll see the contact has been linked to Harry that we've just added. Now we can say that we want an email, say 7 days before, and you can add as many reminders as you think you're going to need. Another one a day before, another email on the time. They can be, these pop-ups will pop up in the CRM, but personally I like the email coming to me. Depends on how you work. So we can hit save. Then we've got a task created. Now this, sorry, I suppose also these tasks are linked to a person. So I'm currently signed in as admin, so it's linked it to me, which I believe you guys are running this on your own at the moment. If you had someone else, you're able to assign that task to another user, and that's going to send them the reminder email.
And I think that'll be really useful once you get to a stage that you've employed some administration assistants down the track as well. You can get them to pick up that reporting and the follow-ups.
Absolutely. So we can add all sorts of things in here just to follow up with someone or other bits and pieces. And it just, I suppose it's there to help keep you on track, and so you don't have to try and remember everything. Yeah, we can also add in log some of these activities. So if we hit the little email button, you'll see that we can actually send an email to Harry directly from the system. Now, again, depending on how you want to do it, we need to work through integrating your specific email address into your CRM. At the moment, they're hooked up to our generic one. So it does function, but it is just the generic account. So you can send Harry an email from here. You also notice if we were to email this particular contact from the email address that's linked to the CRM, it'll also flag a copy of it in here, just so that we have some things you can look back over time and see all those touch points. We can also add, say, a meeting. We can add a phone call. So we can plan to do this call on a certain date. And again, we can set reminders. Email reminder will say, hey, give Harry a call for whatever reason we've put on there.
And you can see by these extra tasks that you can create by an email or a reminder, it might feel like it's extra work, but we're juggling so many different pieces as a community connector. So I think you'll find you'll be able to rest a little bit around remembering everything. And if you're logging those extra points in, I think it'll be really valuable for you all. Jacob, can I just ask a question in regards to when you spoke about the emails logging, being able to track your emails, and each community connector will have a different program that will need to be integrated with. Yep. Is that something that you'll need to do for them, individually dealing with them, or is it something that we can guide them through?
Yeah, it is something that you can do yourself with varying levels of difficulty. I noticed that most people I think you had Gmail accounts. So for instance, with a Gmail account, what you need to do is create what's called an app password in your Gmail account. So that app password allows you to integrate your Gmail account with various bits like software like this. So under administration, and again, I can assist with this, email, outbound emails, there's two different points that we put it in. So outbound email, you can see currently this is hooked up to our generic account. But basically you need to put in the mail server, the port, bits and pieces, which will be different depending on where your email's through. So I think for Gmail, it's p.gmail.com or something. I can find those details online. I can give you a hand to find them. But yeah, then once that's for your outbound emails, so that's like your reminders and bits and pieces, and the group email accounts. So this is the one that it ingests emails per se. So this is
as in tracking, Jacob?
Yeah, that's right. That's probably a better word for it. So you can see we're monitoring the inbox and we're monitoring the sent mail, which again, these folders might be slightly different depending on your emails. So basically, if we send an email using our email account, we can come back in here. Now, again, this is an empty account, so I can't see anything in here, but it will show that an email was sent to Jacob, and you can go in and view the email. So it gives you a good point over time that you can go back into a contact and you can see, hey, we've sent them 16 different emails, and you can go back in and sort of refresh yourself on where you're at.
I think that's also, sorry, Jacob, really valuable for you if you're sick or you're having another staff member come in. They're able to go into that contact and find out what stage you're at with that relocation assistance. So that's where I find it would be really valuable for you all.
Absolutely.
Do you, Gail and Carly, does that make sense, being able to do that, or do you feel like you need a bit of assistance with the tracking emails?
No, I think it makes sense to connect it all, but then is it best to run your email through the email on here?
Doesn't really matter. I think most people, when they're using a CRM, depends how you want to function. Most people probably prefer just to log into their emails and send it from there.
And then that'll always just connect it up anyway. So you don't really need to, you can just continue on.
Yeah, that's right. So emails on your phone, for instance, it's easier to use the Gmail app to send an email out. And while you could log into your CRM on your phone, find the
Yeah,
contacts, send
yeah.
them an email through
But
there, but
just don't need to. Yeah.
yeah, you don't have
Just
to.
one other question while we're just talking about that is tasks and calendar. Is there a way we can sync the calendar and almost the tasks as well onto our Gmail calendars?
Getcha. Now, there are a couple of ways. We'd have to, again, look into your individual setup. There are a few more settings in here. Yeah, obviously this isn't currently synced to a calendar because it's not up to yours, but I believe there is a way.
Potentially we can. So those tasks, for example, could go, like a reminder, could go into a calendar rather than just be sent as another email. That's probably what I was thinking.
Yeah, I believe it is possible.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd have to have a look at your environment.
Okay.
I think that would be really helpful to sync up their email, calendar, and tasks, because I use the Google Calendar to do
Yeah, me
everything.
too. Yeah, me too.
And either way, whether it's setting it up in the Google platform so it syncs across, or vice versa.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And just a suggestion, you could use your correspondence with BEM or I, who set us up as a business contact. So that would be one way of just testing what things are looking like, and we can send you back a screenshot. You know how you just sometimes don't want to go out into the wide world till you know what it's looking like?
Yeah, that was definitely one of my suggestions I had written down, was that we do some testing with ourselves, and use myself as much as you can rather than Jacob. And we use Jacob for the stuff we really need to, because he's contracted to do a certain amount for the CRM, and I think we need to, something we will talk about that sometime.
Yeah.
About what that looks thereafter for support.
Yeah, so initially, I'll just quickly, Jacob is here to help set you up and get you going, and then Bem is your support person. If there's extra fields and things you want, if there's tailoring of your CRM, that there's capacity to do that, correct, Jacob?
Yeah, correct.
But that would be, you would separately contract Jacob to help you with that. We believe that this covers 99.9% of what you need. But Gail, perhaps if you had something special with some funding that you really needed to capture that to make it easy for you down the track, that would be a small job for Jacob, but outside the budget of what we're providing here.
Yeah.
And I think we need to remember everyone has different capabilities as well. And I know when I was working with a different CRM, it was over my head. I paid an extra amount to have some one-on-one onboarding as well. And that's okay if that's what's needed. So we can talk individually about that as well.
Yeah, particularly while we set you up, you're all kind of the beginners, the first group, and then we'll look at, okay, there were some people that needed a lot of extra support, and we'll probably price that and if you need that, or you want something particular with Jacob. So just so that we can make this fair for everyone.
Yeah. And I suppose touching on that, I've just double checked, because the calendar sync was something that I did investigate. That is like an add-on bit of software that you've got to add on to your CRM instance. So that's an example of one of those tweaks that we can make it work for you. But obviously the add-on does need to be added on to that, so that the software can do it. It can do the basic things like emailing.
And I think going forward with our community network meeting, I think we might allocate 10 minutes, 15 minutes every month just to CRM troubleshoot and share what we're experiencing and what's working well for us. And that should hopefully eliminate some of that as well, that we can not spend too much time, but each month just checking about that as well.
Absolutely. All right. So any other bits that we wanted to touch on at this point, or I think that should get everybody in and starting to have a bit of a play. I think that covers most of it. Bim, was there anything in the CRM that you were wanting to cover other than that?
No, I think that's great for a start, because otherwise I think it's too overwhelming. I think, Carly, I'll work directly with you because you have 30 or 40 clients that we need to import across. We might do that. We could do that manually, so we nail it, or we can look at importing it across in the template. So I'll talk directly to you about that. And then Gail, you're at a great stage where you can start from scratch. Reach out to me at any stage.
We're all envious of Gail.
And again, I'm working with Karen at the moment about helping tidying up her current contacts so we can import them across, because it is so specific when you're importing the way that needs to be formatted. No, I think that's...
Can I ask, do you see the potential of how supportive it could be to the job?
Oh my God, this is amazing. You have done the most incredible job. This is, yes, amazing. Thank you so much.
We might get a testimonial for that because
Yeah. That's life-changing, really.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
what we
it's all
hoped
been,
it would be.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, and it's based off evidence of what we know worked in Shepparton and what we needed to gather and what we needed to gather for the client, but our networking for funding, reporting,
Totally.
and honestly, there's going to be tweaks and different fields that we will need to create, and that's okay. We can do that ourselves. It has the capacity to capture any data you want, really. Once we learn.
It seriously is amazing. Just thinking of all the things that I carry in my head that I no longer have to.
Not waking up at night at 2 a.m. going, I need to make contact.
That's
I feel like
right.
it'll give you that little bit of rest.
I just remembered someone now, like while we were talking, I'm like, oh, check in for them. So it's just, I think this will be incredible support for people. Yeah.
I think the next development won't come immediately is as there's evidence-based surveys for 3, 6 and 12 months. And that's the next piece of work between them, Jacob and myself to get them into your universe. It may be an extra cost once we've had a good look at it, but that is something you could give employers reports at a high level. We never want to be able to identify an individual. Or for your region. And I think that will be incredibly valuable because that looks at also their attraction and recruitment processes and where there's room for improvement. I'm just beginning to see them with the client after we got all the technology right coming through now, and they're amazing. For you, just here's all this data, but these are the things you need to know, and these are the tweaks you should be doing. Like, it's really important that an employer knows whether what their strategy for recruitment is working, and what their onboardings do. Have to be really careful because if there's only a couple of employees, I need to think more about how we can protect the client who does that survey. But I'm really excited that it could be something very powerful for you and be really valuable in your community area with that data and providing that, even if that's sitting down with employers and giving them their kind of what you're seeing in their reporting. It's not mandatory for clients to do this, but if you're doing your check-ins, that could be the last ask. That's their call to action. Could you please complete the survey? And that would be done at their 3, 6 months, 12 months points. So you'd be building that database over time. So it's all coming your way. It's very exciting for me. These things have all been in the process for years, but yeah. So Ali, it's actually Western District Health Service. I'm seeing these reports and it's like, oh my God, these are amazing. And you need to see them.
I think we've probably achieved what we needed to achieve today. So thanks, Jacob, very much for going through that simply for us all, patiently, and no doubt I'll be in contact with them all individually. We'll be troubleshooting a little bit with Jacob in the next couple of weeks as well. Yeah, thanks, Kath, for coming. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
And I'll set some times with you both to catch up.
Great.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Oh, he's still there. Good.
Yeah, I'm still there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Sorry,
Well
I didn't
done.
have 5 minutes before.
No, I had a question and I thought I'll just pick up the phone, but I knew that you're probably running from one thing to another.
No, that's good.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Do you want me to talk quickly now, or do you want to set up a time?
Sure. Yeah.
Karen asked yesterday from Glen Innes if she could have another committee member join us today because they wanted to see how the CRM will integrate with their own Microsoft 365. And I said no. I just didn't want to get bogged down individually with people's programs.
Okay, so that was like a second user in there.
I don't really know what she was meaning. You could see with Karen, we're a different generation. It's overwhelming. I can see I'm working with her at the moment. So I think she's meaning how it's going to be tracked into their current 365 with their emails. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, what's the best way to tackle this? I'm mindful that we don't need everyone coming to you. Let me just finish this recording. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm conscious of not everyone coming to you with every little single bits and pieces, but I don't know if I've got my head completely around the whole CRM to train them as well. I had a bit of a play importing Karen's clients, and I just thought I'll import it into my CRM, and it completely failed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do need some help with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think some of those, the technical integration with emails, they can try to do it, but getting those settings right is a bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
don't know whether that's over most people's head.
Yeah.
Which,
I wonder if it's worth talking to Kath about, is there like with HubSpot, I paid an extra $500 or $400 to have some one-on-one onboarding. Maybe that's an option we give them.
yeah, I get
You know, something where, you know, you can help that set up, troubleshoot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to talk to Kath about it. But
yeah, and where that support fits in, where we draw the line in the sand, do we give them a hand get the email set up, but where do we chop it off?
yeah,
For instance,
I feel like we need to probably give them a hand to set it up, because we've created this. We can't just stop it here. But going forward with new clients, definitely go, okay, it's the CRM for a $300 package or whatever that cost is. You'll get a one-on-one with Jacob to set up those things. Or I think we should think about that going forward.
Yeah, get you. And for instance, you know, the Google Calendar sync is like, it's $190 a year for a license to do that.
For the whole, for each individual program's license.
Each instance, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Little things like that. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of other add-ons if they want specific things, and it's like an advanced reporting, whatever, where it'll do all this other stuff that is probably not necessary for everybody. But if they did want that, then absolutely. But they probably need to go and buy the add-on.
But if they were to buy the add-on, Jacob, at $199, you're still required to get that some back-end work for you, though, isn't there, as well?
I haven't actually bought an add-on for it yet, but I think they need to.
Is it just something
they can probably install it on their end?
Okay, cool.
I think they can just add it as long as they've got the license for it. But
yeah, okay.
yeah, so little things like that. I think we just need to work out where the line is in the sand, and because we've got it's fairly limited ongoing time as far as what we've currently got in the contract with Kath for this particular ongoing project.
Yeah.
Which there's enough, because obviously we're running the whole server infrastructure from the ground up. So there's running Linux updates and database updates in the back end that no one actually sees, but that keeps the thing online and working for everyone. Yeah, so there's a lot of different moving parts to it. But
yeah, there is. Yeah. All right.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, okay. So I suppose the two main things that we need to help people with right now is importing Carly's 40 contacts clients.
Yeah. Was that the Glen Innes one that you sent me yesterday?
Did I send it to you yesterday?
One of them you sent me an email about. I forwarded it to support to make a ticket.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I just wanted to, I tried to sort of tidied it up and taken all the extra bits and pieces out and added the 6 ones for the mobiles, but I just, something's not right with me trying to import it. So I just need some help there.
Yeah, I get you.
Or I'm happy to plug away and add them all individually.
Yeah, I was hoping to discuss with Kath as well. There was an email that was sent through about access to the systems. I was under the impression that you guys wanted admin access to all of the
no
instances. Okay, so I should probably need to go and remove them.
Yeah,
because there is currently a BIM and Kath user for everyone. Yeah,
I think so. That would be good, and because Kate from Coast, they've pulled the pin on the CRM.
Yeah, I saw that. That was.
And I wonder whether that's got something to do with the security of that and access, and
Gotcha.
I've just been involved in the email thread, not in the conversations Kath's had.
Yeah, I saw the email thread as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I will remove them immediately.
Yeah. Do you think, and I'll let everyone know that as well. Why? Or we just don't mention it?
I don't know.
Kath sort of did go over it, didn't she, that we don't have access to it?
Yeah. Sorry, that was not what I thought at all.
No, that's okay. This is the nature of the beast, isn't it?
Yeah, there is an admin account that I have, but like like we need that anyway.
Yeah, I
Other
think,
than that,
yeah, I think any IT that creates something like this would have an admin account.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you reckon I would just add Karen's contacts? Do you think the time it's going to be mucking around? We're never going to have a new program we're going to have to import across. It's everything going forward will be.
it's up to you. It should work. I saw. Were there any specific errors that came up?
No, it's
in it?
just not. No, it's I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I've done. It's missing fields and the names didn't get. It might be just the way I've put it on the template and tried to muck around with the template, I think. So I feel like I need to take it away. Yeah, can you just have a look sometime and let me know
Yeah,
if
I can try.
I should just do them manually for her? I don't want to get her too much involved in about importing across. I feel like she's quite overwhelmed.
Yeah, okay. They got removed all those users now. So that was the that's Gail's, was it?
Karen.
Underberg. Karen, that's the
Yeah.
Glen Innes. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Let me just have a look.
So you've tried to do the import. I'll just sign it.
Yeah, but see how I've put it into. I'm just going to go to my. I tried to, and I think I messed around with the template.
Okay.
So she's not capturing a lot of the additional information, needing a car, yada. I just captured the main points. But can you see how it's done the phone numbers? It's put an E+ in the phone numbers.
So I'm just trying to open it up.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to let my dogs out of the room that are locked up whilst I was in the meeting. I won't be long.
You're right.
We've got tradies here, so I had to lock them up.
I think the E thing on the telephone numbers is just because the field's too small. If you make it wider, it should.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was going to say I hadn't seen that before. I don't know what I've done there.
They look formatted correctly. First one's missing a contact type.
Yes.
Second last one's missing an email address.
But so if there's a couple like that, will that mean that the whole lot doesn't get imported?
No, it should just miss the certain one.
That's what I thought.
Should be fine.
Okay.
Because there's no accounts linked to these, are there?
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, so it's not like, because otherwise you got to do the accounts first.
Yeah.
So if I just save this, I'll try and import it into Glen Innes. We'll see what.
Yeah, that'd be good. And sorry, we don't have to do this now, Jacob. I know I haven't given you time to do it, but I just.
That's right, I may as well do it. Do you want me to I'll do a screen share?
Yeah, that'd be good.
You can have a look. Just confirming Glen Innes, that's correct.
Mhm.
Contact.
Yeah.
File, I whacked it on there. Create only.
Okay, so maybe I didn't have that field right. Create only. Maybe I've done. What are the other options there other than create only?
Create an update or update.
Okay.
So create an update would be create
Changes.
ones that don't exist. Anyone who does already exist, it'll overlap the data with the new stuff.
With the new stuff, yeah.
Should be right. And then you can come in here and just check all of the fields line up. First name, last name, phone number.
Yeah.
And they're all
How
empty.
did that do it for anyway? All right, that's good.
That's right. I think it just brings a couple there as a preview. That's all fine because I've got all those set.
Yeah.
Next, this is all the mappings. Just double check that everything's right. Arrival date. Where's it got that from?
Yeah, so maybe I've got that in the wrong go back to the sheet.
Go back to the sheet. Is that arrival date? Okay.
Put in the wrong field.
So in the sheet, there's arrival date, and I don't know whether that should be brief notes. No, because then we've got descriptions as well. I'm not sure what's actually in that arrival date field, because some of it says couple, single, family.
That's Family Dynamics. Because I moved some of these fields around.
Yeah.
Is that change things, I wonder?
That should be right. Have you got the sheet open on yours? Or I can share it from here.
I've got the one I've done, yes. Yep. And we're at arrival date. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can see relocating from on that last one, Coolum, Queensland, but we've only got interstate, intrastate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we massage those, I'm not quite
Interstate.
sure where that should go. And then the ones that have, the ones that
Okay.
say couple, single family, they're actually just duplicates of what's written in the family dynamics.
And I did have dates in there, so I need to have a squeeze.
Okay. Yeah, but it should, like, it will import.
Yeah, okay.
I
Good.
think that's better
I'll have a bit more
than
of a play
wasting your
again.
wasting time, but I think that's still going to be quicker to massage that data a little bit more.
If
The rest of it looks fine.
Yeah, can I just import it into mine? Because what happens if I import it into Karen's and then I have to delete? I didn't know how to delete the cells or the contacts.
You now can't delete it into Karen's. You can't import it into Karen's because you don't have an account in Karen's.
Yep.
Instance, I just deleted it. So
Yep. So I'll tidy that up and I'll have to fling it to you, will I?
Even if you send it to me, I can do it.
Yeah, just because this one, I think
minutes.
Kylie is a bit more IT savvy. She'll be able to work it out.
Yeah.
But I feel like Karen, we have to make sure that's working right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. It's a very quick thing.
It allows us to troubleshoot anyway, but all right.
Easy done.
I don't think Karen would care if I was an admin to do that anyway, but
no, yeah. So I just deleted it a few minutes ago, otherwise it would have worked.
That's okay. The other question I have, that recording we've just done this morning, I just want to chop off that last 10 seconds about you talking about Karen, because Karen, how do I do that? So it's in the meeting chat. Not that we said anything negative, but it was probably not about the CRM. I didn't realize, I forgot I was still recording.
Yeah, probably edit the video file. Are you on a Mac or Windows?
Windows.
It's easier to do on a Mac. Can you do it in?
Don't know.
I know on Mac you can do it in QuickTime.
Okay, that's all right.
Trim a video in.
I'll just see what.
You might be able to do it in QuickTime Player. Otherwise, you have to find something you can just trim the video.
Yeah. All right, I'll have a play. Thank you.
Okay, that's all right.
Thanks,
Let me know if you get
Jacob.
stuck.
Yeah, and do we need to have how do we go forward with this? We're just plugging these things that we have around costs with onboarding going forward, calendar add-ons, making a bit of a list, do you think? And then we get together with Kath about them, or? Yeah, I'll talk to Kath.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. Talk to you soon. Thanks,
Okay.
Jacob.
Thanks,
All right, see ya. Hey,